I'm going to focus this afternoon on the time I spent in East Timor in 2000, my relationship with the media. By way of background, in East Timor, for those of you probably a little bit younger in the audience who was in New Zealand space when we first went in there, but that's a long time ago. We were in Kobalima district, which is in the south of the island. My area of operations covered 1,500 square kilometres. And because of its isolated location and weather patterns, it was the most backward part of East Timor. It had witnessed some of the most and the worst atrocities in 1999, including the massacre in the Suai church where the militia, high on drugs, had killed 65 locals within the church and 2 of the priests who were trying to protect them. We replaced the 1st Battalion in the May of 2000, and I had under command a company of Fijians, which coincidentally 3 days after deploying there they had the coup, and they wanted to go home, and we couldn't give them a plane, so they stayed. A Nepalese company and an Irish group of 55, so it was a fairly eclectic group. Initially there were no security incidents. Refugees were returning, the market was flourishing, the non-government organisations were beginning to establish themselves, and our role was more of one of facilitating the United Nations and the NGOs in their job, an important role of reconstruction and repatriation of refugees. This changed on the 24th of July when Private Manning was killed. And for the following 4 months we had a number of security incidents. So having set the scene, what was our interaction with the media whilst we were in Timor? Based on the security situation initially, there was less interest. My most vivid memory was the time I spent with Sean Dorney, who was writing articles at the time for the Sydney Morning Herald and also for the New Zealand Herald. He gained my confidence quickly based on his experience and his informed questions. Accordingly, I embedded him with my team for a couple of days. We took the time out to brief him in detail, and then we literally gave him free range around the battalion. He provided some excellent articles that reflected the situation on the ground, and in hindsight he shaped my approach to journalists, which was and remains very positive. In short, he wanted a story, we wanted to tell our story, so we both achieved what we wanted. When the security environment changed for the worse, there was a higher level of interest from a wider range of media around the world. The incidents include Manning's death, the evacuation of the UNHCR workers from Atambua after 2 of them had been killed, and a series of militia contacts. If I can pick out some of the key points from these incidents, they are: when a soldier is killed, obviously our priority is to inform their family. So we cannot immediately provide all the details you may desire. Moreover, the information we can provide is shaped by the security concerns. I must admit that in my time the media were very appreciative of that. The time we can give to the media is balanced against our need to focus on operations. I do recall Cameron Bennett filming a piece for 60 minutes when we had a contact involving the Nepalese company and the loss of one of their soldiers. He was very keen to interview me as the commander on the ground, but he was also aware that he had to fit it in around my command responsibility. The fact that I gave him some time was because he gave my trust. Based on his experience, I knew he was an objective reporter, but more critically, he was respectful of the time. The outcome was an objective but balanced report, basically along the lines that the New Zealand Battalion is doing a dangerous job, but also doing a good job. And he reflected that by using a piece from the sector commander to illustrate that. So the bottom line is that I was committed to ensuring accurate and timely information reached our families back home. So again, it was a win-win situation. The media wanted a story, and we wanted to reassure our families that we were in control. If I can now just turn to some lessons which I learned personally as a commander. The first one is it's critical to have an effective public relations officer who has your confidence and that of the media. I had Denise, and she fitted both those qualities. There is the potential also as a commander though to get caught up by the media requirements, which could take you away from your priorities. So I needed to be disciplined. Denise provided that for me, but also give the media a clear understanding of my priorities. Another one is media training. It is vital for understanding the media industry, their challenges and needs, Appreciation of their role and involving them early in your tour will help them appreciate our role. If I can be so bold as to provide a couple of hints for the media. The first one is quickly build a rapport with the commander on the ground. Sean Dorney and Cameron Bennett achieved that with me and quickly won my confidence. In building that rapport, if you can, emphasise that you appreciate our challenges, that our first priority has to be the safety and security of our people on the ground. Moreover, you appreciate that sometimes we can't tell you everything. In other words, establish the ground rules. Additionally, I'd ask that you talk to the commanding officers first. We have the full and accurate facts that the soldiers sometimes don't have. And hand in hand with that, I would ask that you respect the privacy of our soldiers, particularly those who don't want to talk to the media. Don't feel intimidated by the uniform. We want to talk and more than willing to help you understand the situation. We want the public to be proud of what we are doing. And we appreciate and be appreciated. We also appreciate that the people who are going to provide that information for us is the media. Also, just bringing out the point which was brought out before, we are there just to discuss the operations, not the politics. Ask the politicians those questions. So in conclusion, I personally had a very strong relationship with the media. I probably had more media time than I'd have cared for, but that was based on the security situation at the time. 9 years later, we do continue to be involved in Timor and 11 other missions. And in all these missions, we firmly believe that we're doing an important job, and I think you do in this audience as well, for which the New Zealand Army and the Defence Force has a long history and is highly regarded. In doing that job, we're more than happy to assist the media, but the relationship will only work if it is based on trust. The bottom line is we need each other.